Imagine this. You're a royal physician. It's 1834 Madrid. The king, Ferdinand VII, is dead. But your job isn't done. You're called for a post-mortem. And it's bizarre. Something totally unprecedented. The Queen Regent is there, Maria Cristina, and her request is just chilling. Your hands might even tremble approaching the body. This man, Ferdinand, he terrorized Spain, and even in death there's this presence.
Right.
But it's not his face you're focused on. It's what's under the silk sheets. An anatomical anomaly, something that defined his reign just as much as his cruelty. A secret so disturbing people would whisper about it for centuries.
Oh.
So today, we're taking a deep dive into this astonishing story. Almost unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
Ferdinand VII of Spain.
Yeah.
It's not just about a king. It's about how a man's private anatomical challenge, it became a public catastrophe. It hit his personal life, his wives, and ultimately the fate of an empire.
It really sets the stage.
And we've got this fascinating collection of historical accounts to draw on, including some powerful stuff from a YouTube channel, quiet historians,
Yeah.
use Vatican archives, court physician notes, private letters.
Really rich sources.
Exactly. And they pull back those silk sheets,
That's true.
on one of history's most disturbing royal secrets.
That's such a vivid way to put it, and I think what grabs me most about these sources isn't just, the sheer strangeness of Ferdinand's condition,
Right.
but how they really light up this chain reaction. You've got this deep personal suffering, and it seems to just, metastasize into this national trauma.
Metastasize, that's a powerful word for it.
So our goal today, I think, is to pull out those crucial nuggets, not just about the physical condition itself, but how it all tangled together, his psychology, his reign, Spain's decline. How does that personal suffering ripple outwards?
Yeah, how do we even begin to untangle all that? I mean, that phrase you used, an anatomical monstrosity that shaped history. It really sticks with you, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, so let's unpack this right from the start. Ferdinand VII, he wasn't just born royal. He was born into what, you can only call a genetic nightmare. Centuries of royal inbreeding. Habsburgs, Bourbons.
That's exactly the starting point. It wasn't just bad luck, it was systemic. This idea of a genetic lottery. Well, for Ferdinand, it was rigged from the start.
Rigged how?
His parents, Charles IV and Maria Louisa, were first cousins. He was born October 14th, 1784. And that gamble, unfortunately, it resulted in these significant physical issues, this inbreeding, meant to keep power concentrated.
Right, keep it in the family.
Exactly. But it often led to these profound problems in European royals. And Ferdinand, he became a really stark, unfortunate example.
And the signs were there early on, this anatomical anomaly.
Oh, yes. By his teens, court physicians were already whispering, and the records, the ones hidden away, possibly in the Vatican archives, they're chilling.
What did they actually say? How did they describe it?
The descriptions are quite graphic. One physician wrote something like, "His Royal Highness is afflicted with a member of such extraordinary dimensions and peculiar form that intimate relations may prove challenging."
Challenging is quite the understatement, I imagine.
And then there's an even blunter one. "The prince's organ resembles nothing so much as a billiard cue, thin as sealing wax at its base, thick as a man's fist at its extremity, and long enough to serve as a walking stick."
Good heavens. Like a billiard cue.
Yes, and they noted the size, too, measuring near to 10 inches in its natural state and growing considerably larger when aroused.
10 inches. Natural state. Wow.
Oh.
I can barely wrap my head around the psychological impact. In that era, with classical ideals of anatomy, smaller was seen as aristocratic, right?
Precisely. So his massive member, as the sources put it, made him feel like a freak of nature. It wasn't just a physical issue. It was a source of deep, profound shame, resentment.
And combined with his childhood. You mentioned a weak father, an adulterous mother.
Right. That whole dysfunctional background plus this physical humiliation, it really forged a tyrant. He took that shame, that feeling of being ridiculed, and turned it outwards as cruelty.
And it wasn't all in his head, was it? The ridicule. Court gossip, servants giggling.
Oh, definitely not. Foreign diplomats reported on it. His paranoia had roots in reality. But his reaction, way over the top.
Like the story of the young page.
Exactly. The boy accidentally saw him changing. The result, flogged, exiled, family ruined. The message was crystal clear. See my shame, suffer the consequences. It set this terrible pattern.
Dehumanizing.
Yeah.
So this deep-seated shame and paranoia, how did that play out in his marriages? Let's look at the first one. 1802, Princess Maria Antonia of Naples and Sicily.
His cousin. Another cousin, yes. And she arrived apparently full of these romantic notions. They called him the desired one, some supporters did. She had no idea.
What awaited her?
The wedding was grand, of course, but the wedding night, that's where the horror story really starts. Sources talk about special preparations.
Preparations, like what?
Custom-made cushions, various oils, even implements that seem more medical than romantic. Maria Antonia, very sheltered. She was utterly unprepared.
And we have accounts from witnesses, ladies in waiting.
We do. One described her screaming as though she had seen the devil himself, crying, "Monster! Monster!" His member was described again like a great club with a thin handle. The terror must have been just absolute.
Unimaginable.
And the medical reality was grim. Physicians were called in. Ferdinand needed a specially designed pillow just to avoid injuring himself.
Injuring himself. Good grief.
And even with all that, it was so traumatic for Maria Antonia, she needed laudanum, a powerful opiate, just to endure it.
Wow. So this led to addiction.
Severe sexual trauma, the sources call it. And yes, eventually addiction.
And their attempts to have an heir. You mentioned it became a ritualized nightmare.
It did. Repeatedly. Ferdinand got more desperate. He ordered increasingly bizarre methods. Custom-made restraints, consulting astrologers, alchemists. Yes. And even some wandering mystic who claimed Ferdinand had a dragon's rod and knew ancient fertility rituals. Anything to get an heir.
And the result?
Utterly devastating. 2 miscarriages. The first, 1804, physicians blamed on unusual stresses, basically, the trauma of the act itself. The second, 1805, nearly killed her, deepened the addiction, the despair.
And Ferdinand's reaction, how did he treat her through this?
Cruelly. He actually blamed her, accused her of sabotaging the pregnancies deliberately, claimed her liberal sympathies meant she didn't want to give him a proper heir.
That's twisted.
Her mental health just collapsed. She died in May 1807, only 21. The official cause was vague, but many called it despair.
And the rumors. Poison.
Dark rumors, yes. That Ferdinand had her poisoned. And those whispers got louder when the palace apothecary died suspiciously just days later, left some cryptic letter that Ferdinand's agents immediately seized, never seen again.
So it certainly looks suspicious.
Very. Many believed it contained proof, maybe a confession about poisons.
By this point, Ferdinand's character seems irredeemably twisted. The trauma of the insecurity, it just wiped out any empathy.
Utterly. People became tools. Servants vanished, guards exiled. His growing sadism was becoming more and more obvious.
And this ties into his politics, his paranoia.
Directly. His obsession with being mocked, born from that personal shame, led to these disproportionate and increasingly violent responses. Anyone perceived as a threat, politically or personally.
He'd use them and discard them.
Exactly, like with the Fernandinos' conspiracy against his father, Charles IV, they called him the desired one, hiding his instability, painting him as some kind of reformer.
But then the Escorial conspiracy in 1807.
Right, when he was caught plotting with Napoleon, it showed his true colors, total cowardice, complete lack of loyalty. He betrayed everyone involved to save his own skin, begged his parents for forgiveness. A chilling pattern.
And all this time, his physical condition, it was getting worse.
Apparently so. Sources suggest it continued to grow, change, develop new abnormalities. Some historians now theorize megalopenis, a rare hormonal disorder.
So the implications were, he needed more help, more elaborate aids.
More sophisticated aids, yes, and crucially, compliant wives. This seems to have led to a deliberate selection of women who could be psychologically manipulated or physically coerced.
Chilling. And the palace craftsmen. They became specialists.
In this macabre field, yes, sworn to secrecy. Their workshops were described as part medical laboratory, part torture chamber, developing restraining devices, other implements.
And some of them died mysteriously.
Several did, yes. Fueling rumors, Ferdinand silenced them to keep his secrets safe.
Then Napoleon takes him captive. 6 years, 1808 to 1814. What happened then?
Well, interestingly, it was marked by continued medical experimentation. French physicians studied him. Their reports, found later in Napoleonic archives, offer some of the most detailed clinical descriptions. They called his organs something belonging to a creature from mythology.
Mythology?
Yeah.
While his people are fighting and dying for him back in Spain.
That's the stark irony. Spaniards shedding blood for the desired one while he's focused on finding new brides and, well, managing his sexual dysfunction.
So he returns in 1814. Big heroes welcome, adoring crowds. And his first move.
Not governing, commissioning a whole new set of marital aids. This really kicks off what historians call the ominous decade, his personal problems directly mirroring Staines's catastrophe.
His dysfunction becoming the nation's dysfunction?
Perfectly put. So, wife number 2, Maria Isabel of Portugal, another cousin, only 19, full of naive hope.
And despite briefings, preparations, the wedding night.
Another disaster. Screams echoing through the palace. Genuine terror and pain, witnesses said. Servants found blood-stained sheets more like torture than a wedding night.
And the impact on her, Isabel.
She never recovered, developed a stutter, flinched whenever he entered a room, had hysterical episodes, what we now call severe trauma responses. Nightmares about the monster.
And Ferdinand's reaction to her terror.
Took it as a personal insult. His paranoia just exploded. Intercepted mail, tasted food, searched chambers. His personal issues had truly metastasized into a political psychosis. It infected everything.
And this led to that grotesque medical theater.
Yes. Desperate for an heir, he invited foreign experts, German anatomists, French physicians, to observe his attempts at procreation. His marriage bed became a public spectacle, a subject of academic study across Europe.
Just degrading. How did Isabel cope?
She showed signs of complete psychological collapse. Stopped eating, lost weight, had phantom pregnancies, brief hope, then crushing disappointment. She died in 1818, only 2 years into the marriage. Many suspect she hastened her own end, seeking liberation.
And Ferdinand? Did he mourn?
His reaction was terrifying. He was convinced she was murdered, ordered multiple autopsies, arrested her ladies-in-waiting, commissioned a death mask, and apparently conducted conversations with the lifeless face in private.
Gosh, okay. Wife number 3, Maria Joseph Amalia of Saxony, 1819.
Yes, she was older, seemed more prepared than Isabel, apparently even brought her own medical devices. Her approach was described as clinical, like it was a medical challenge to be solved scientifically.
Clinical detachment. How did Ferdinand react to that?
It seemed to frustrate him even more than Isabel's terror. He grew suspicious. Thought she was secretly documenting his condition for foreign spies, sharing state secrets about his anatomy.
While all this is happening, Spain's losing its empire.
And the colonies used it as propaganda, depicting him as this sexually impotent tyrant, unable to produce heirs. He even used the Inquisition, which he'd brought back, to investigate sexual slander against the crown. Imagine the climate of fear.
Unbelievable. But then, 1829, after 10 years with Maria Joseph, she gets pregnant.
Against all odds, yes, a shock across Europe. But complications arose around the 7th month, possibly placental abruption, and Ferdinand's interference. Consulting mystics alongside doctors. It created chaos, made effective intervention impossible.
So what happened?
Premature labor. May 18th, 1829, the baby, a daughter, lived only a few hours, and Maria Josefa herself died 3 weeks later.
Oh.
And Ferdinand had a complete breakdown of his sanity. Refused to bury either body, demanded resurrections from his doctors for nearly a week.
Demanded resurrections. Okay, so he's 45, 3 wives dead, no heir. What next?
4th marriage, 1829 again, Maria Cristina of Naples. But here's the twist.
There's another twist.
She was already pregnant by another man when they married.
Wait, she was visibly pregnant at the wedding?
Apparently so. The sources call it a farcical affair, fooled absolutely no one, but Ferdinand, desperate, just accepted this obvious deception, clung to the idea of divine providence however it arrived.
So Isabella II is born in 1830, but this brings new problems.
New anxieties, yes. He knew she wasn't biologically his, but he absolutely had to maintain the fiction of legitimacy. So their whole relationship was built on this mutual deception.
And his paranoia.
Worse than ever. Random inspections of Maria Cristina's chambers, bursting in with guards, accusing her of treason. He even had peepholes drilled into walls.
Peepholes? Like a voyeur.
Exactly. Watching her private moments like a demented voyeur.
And the food tasting.
Became these elaborate hours-long ceremonies. Tasters had to wait 30 minutes after eating. Some apparently collapsed from nervous exhaustion, which only reinforced Ferdinand's belief that assassins were everywhere.
Maria Cristina must have felt utterly trapped.
Like being in a glass cage, her letters suggest. And the paranoia spread through the whole court. Loyalty tests, this bizarre theater of mutual surveillance. People learned to speak in code, avoid eye contact.
A reign of terror based on his personal demons. What about his relationship with Isabella, the daughter?
Pathologically anxious. He loved her as the heir, the continuation of his line, but resented her as living proof of his sexual failure.
How'd that manifest?
Commissioning portraits, comparing them obsessively to himself, to Maria Christina's supposed lovers. He even hired investigators to build dossier on every man she'd known in Naples, looking for physical resemblances to Isabella.
His bedroom became a museum of his sexual failures.
That's how one source describes it. Portraits of dead wives, failed medical devices, a grim collection.
And then, 1832, the paranoia hits a new low.
The bizarre culmination, yes. He started demanding medical exams of Maria Christina before any physical intimacy, feared she was trying to poison him through intimate contact, the final degradation.
So by 1833, his health must have been shot.
Completely reflected the psychological damage. Tremors, digestive problems, cognitive decline, rambling speeches.
He died that year, 1833. Officially, gout, but the real cause.
Privately, physicians said it was exhaustion, physical, psychological, and spiritual. He'd simply worn himself out.
But the autopsy. Back to that scene from the beginning, the final revelation.
Grim indeed. His member was preserved, measured an astounding 14 inches in length with dramatic variations in girth, but maybe more disturbing.
More disturbing than that.
Evidence of internal scarring and deformity, and signs of deliberate self-harm dating back to Ferdinand's teenage years. Pathetic, desperate attempts at self-surgery that had only made things worse.
Oh, that's just tragic. Self-surgery.
This preserved organ, the drawings, sealed away in the Vatican archives, deemed too disturbing, too politically sensitive. It really is a window into the private hell of absolute power corrupted by anatomical fate.
So his legacy, what does he leave behind?
Isabella II inherited a kingdom completely torn apart. Civil war, economic collapse. His personal obsessions, his private hell, had totally overshadowed any sense of public duty. It just accelerated Spain's decline.
From global empire to
a minor European power. It's a profound lesson, really, how individual psychological damage can, as we said, metastasize into national trauma.
What a journey. Truly astonishing, often deeply disturbing. We've really seen how one man's deepest shame, his most private secret, ended up reshaping an entire nation.
Exactly. It's such a powerful reminder of the human cost of absolute monarchy, where one person's problems, their genetic inheritance even, could determine the fate of millions paying the price for a genetic lottery that went wrong centuries before they were even born.
We've taken a real deep dive today into Ferdinand VII's hidden truths. But maybe as you reflect on all this, consider this thought. How much of history, the history of leaders, of nations, is fundamentally shaped by these unspoken, unseen struggles, the private demons of individuals? How many anatomical monstrosities, metaphorical or literal, are still out there, influencing our world, just waiting for those silk sheets to be pulled back? We'll leave you with that.